Welcome everybody back. We are live. This is live time. Lance Scurv here, and I promised you I was going to speak about relationships, and we can talk about relationships from so many different angles. So we can go with this forever. So the title tonight is Are Relationships Even Worth It Anymore? I say yes, but society has soaked up so many weird doctrines and mentalities, and it's been passed on to the younger folks, and there are reasons for it now. I can see legitimate reasons for why people are going against relationships as it's done now. But if we keep on going the way we're going, it's a sure disaster. So I know this came as a shock the time that I had this show. I was supposed to have it a little earlier, but I was caught up in traffic. I made some runs today, had a good time, met some good people, like I said, and made some good connections, and I feel good about the day. Sister Queen Diane, how are you? Yes, I'm glad you're here. I was looking for you, as well as for a few other people to come on in. So, I get a lot of feedback. I get a lot of people talking to me about things that are going on in their life. Some I can say and repeat. They've given me permission, as long as I don't mention names. And some I can't repeat, but they overlap with other situations that I've experienced through other people, and some things through myself also, my own experiences and just life of just observing things. And we've come a long way, and it's not good what I see, because I have to keep reminding myself that this is 2026. It's weird for me, but to see that number at this point, for some reason, the 2026 did it to me. I don't know why. Time is flying, and we got to get our acts together. And this is just another way for us to be, how could I put it? Be demolished, become extinct, if we look at each other in a negative way and don't build family relationships and community. It's all over for us if that's the case. You see what I mean? So a few people wanted to come on in, and I'll put the link up in the chat room so that when they come in, they can come in. If they even remembered, it's okay, because we're going to do this. Again, just make sure to go to LanceScurvX.com and sign up. That way you can get all of the content there. Now, I find on LanceScurvX, we can just stream right there. So there'll be some risque topics that I'll be doing live there. Nowhere else except there. Not all of them, but I'm going to start doing it. So you'll be missing out if you don't go there. So this is what we're going to do. I want to share a few words, and let's get to it. Now, there was a time when love meant something deeper than a quick thrill and a temporary feeling. There was a time when people actually built something together, brick by brick, day by day, year by year. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't always pretty, but it was real. Today, that kind of connection feels like a rare sight, almost like something from another world, straight up. Welcome on in, Landon. Yes, I'm going to highlight the comments after I put down a few of these words, because the big ones catch my eye. So let's put this up from now. Everybody waking up about to hopefully put best foot forward. It's not the whole person no more. It's all the extra them. We got to get back on our act, though. We got to get back on our game, not game like a game you're playing, but the game of life, right? We're now living in a time where everything moves fast, including how people deal with each other. Yep, booty calls, huh? Feelings are rushed, connections are rushed, and just as quickly as something starts, it ends. People don't invest like they used to. They don't stay like they used to. And worst of all, they don't trust like they used to. For many, especially in our community, relationships have turned into a battlefield. It's no longer about building something meaningful together. It's about who can get the most while giving the least. It's about control, manipulation, and self-preservation. And when you step back and really look at it, you have to ask yourself, is it even worth it anymore? We have men who no longer approach women because they feel like it's all a setup. They feel like they're going to be used, drained, and disrespected. At the same time, we have women who are tired, hurt, and guarded because of what they've been through. Both sides are wounded, but instead of healing, they're clashing. And right in the middle of all of this confusion, social media is pouring gasoline on the fire, shaping minds, twisting values, and turning what should be sacred into something cheap and, worst of all, disposable. We have to be honest about what's happening. Real connection is dying. People don't want to bond on a deep level anymore because deep connections require vulnerability. And in today's world, vulnerability is seen as weakness. Instead of taking time to learn someone, people are scanning profiles, judging based on appearances, money, status, and what they can get. It has become a marketplace, not a place for love, but a place for transactions. So let's call it for what it is. A lot of relationships today are nothing more than dressed up business deals. One person is offering money, lifestyle, or status. The other is offering companionship, sex, or access. Strip it all down, and you'll see that many of these situations have no real emotional foundation. There's really nothing more than prostitution. So when it ends, and it always does, it's no real loss, just another deal that expired and fell through. Social media has completely reshaped how people see relationships. It's created unrealistic expectations on both sides. It's turned love into a performance, something to be shown off instead of something to be lived. Young minds are being fed a constant stream of images and ideas that distort reality. They see highlight reels, not real life. They see luxury without struggle, attraction without commitment, and attention without accountability. And what happens over time is that people begin to believe that this is normal. They start chasing illusions. They start comparing real people to fake standards. And in the process, they lose the ability to appreciate something real. Worse than that, social media thrives on division. It pushes content that keeps men and women at odds. It rewards conflict. It amplifies negativity. It creates an environment where distrust grows stronger every single day. We're watching a silent war unfold. Men saying women can't be trusted. Women saying men are no good. And both sides have stories, pain, and real experience that fuel their beliefs. But what many don't realize is that this constant division is weakening the entire foundation of the community. Because when men and women can't come together, families don't form. And without families, there is no structure, no stability, and worst of all, no future. A strong community is built on strong families, and strong families are built on committed relationships. You cannot skip that step. You can't replace it with temporary connections and expect long-term results. Right now, too many people are opting out. Too many are saying it's not worth the stress, not worth the risk, not worth the pain, and even financial loss. And while that may protect them in the short term, it comes at a long-term cost. This didn't happen overnight. There have been forces at play for decades that have slowly chipped away at the unity between men and women. Policies, cultural shifts, media influence, and economic pressures have all played a role. There have been systems that separated families, that made it harder for unity to thrive, that created dependency instead of partnership. And over time, those effects have compounded. Generations have grown up without seeing strong, stable relationships modeled in front of them. So they don't know what it looks like. They don't know how to build it. They don't know how to maintain it. But what they do know is what they see now. And what they see now is confusion, chaos, and constant conflict. With all of this going on, it's easy to become cynical. It's easy to shut down and say it's not worth it. But the truth is, real love still exists. It's just buried under layers of distraction, fear, and conditioning. The problem is not that love is gone. The problem is that people are no longer prepared for what love requires. Love requires patience. It requires sacrifice. It requires honesty. It requires growth. And most importantly, it requires two people who are willing to put the work in, even when it's not easy. That kind of mindset is rare today, but it's not impossible. If anything is going to change, it starts with individuals making a decision to be different, to move with intention instead of impulse, to seek substance instead of surface. It means turning away from the noise and focusing on what truly matters. It means unlearning the toxic patterns that have been normalized. It means taking accountability instead of pointing fingers. How many of us can do that? And yes, it means taking a risk, because real connection will always require risk. But without that risk, guess what? There's no reward. Without the effort, there is no foundation. Without that foundation, there is no future. So the question remains, are relationships worth it anymore? The answer depends on what kind of relationship you're willing to build. We can't continue down this path and expect things to magically fix themselves. The damage is real and is spreading deeper with each passing year. Not even that, each passing week. But that doesn't mean it's too late. There are still people out here who want something real. I know many of them. People who are tired of the games, tired of the surface level connections, tired of feeling empty after temporary encounters, no matter how many orgasms you had. But those people have to find each other. And that only happens when they step away from the illusion and start living in truth. It's going to take courage. It's going to take discipline. And it's going to take a willingness to go against what the world is pushing. Because what the world is pushing right now is not love, it's distraction. And if we don't wake up, we risk losing something that once held us together at our core. And I'm going to tell you, welcome in, Brother Mars Mentality. Welcome on in. I'm glad you're here. But I'm telling you, this thing has changed so fast. It was an AI type of video, and this AI is getting better and better. Now I use AI with these banners, and they don't know how to spell when you look at the word transportation on this banner, right? But it touched me. Now here we are with something artificial, yet it touched me. And you're right, Landon, love in voice, that's my idea. Yes, that's what I see out here. But with the video that touched me, it was, okay, let me see here what I'm doing. Okay, boom, all right. It showed, you know that this was the 60s. You know that this was the 70s, the early 70s, by the way they had the colors. And they just showed Black couples embracing each other. Not just straight up, I'm holding you this way, but some were holding hands, some were embracing each other, some were sitting back on a couch, and you could tell that they were watching TV because you saw the lights it was dark and the TV lights were reflecting. It just showed love between us. And these are the images that I saw more when I was growing up. You know, growing up in New York City, Washington Heights, eventually in Queens, it was an inner city kind of scenario. It wasn't any country thing going on, which they could have, and it would have been, but it hit me hard because this is the imagery that I was used to seeing coming up. And then I thought about my old neighborhood when I was much younger. And in the neighborhood that I was born into in Manhattan, that I continued to go to because my father had a business there. So I had two neighborhoods that I was connected with the people there. And I saw these long-term relationships. I saw people get older, eventually pass away. And it was all love. You had the guys who had multiple girlfriends, you had breakups, you had all of that. I'm not saying it's perfect. But even though we had many problems and challenges, and I hate to use the word problems, but even though we had those things, there was still love, and it was still Black love. And it's very important. Black love was attacked. Even from back in those days, we all know it well, the welfare system. A mother couldn't have a man in the house, the father, the children. The social worker would come around and check for the shoes, man's shoes under the bed, look in the closet, see how many toothbrushes were there. That's by design. And we spoke about it the other day. The culture, how it's changed and how it was hijacked to present us a certain way to each other. Well, I'm going to tell you, in a war, which a lot of us don't realize that we're in, but that's the sad part too. But in war, there's winners, there's losers. There are people who look at both sides different on each side. You can have two sides in a war feeling as though they're winning and they're not. And I hate to say it, but with the attacks on the Black family, especially in America, because that's where I was born and raised, right? The enemy seems to be winning. You have married couples, but those who are married, their mindset is messed up. Not all. I know of some really great relationships and marriages and the families that came out of that. That's what the enemy does not want. So we've got to realize that with all of the social media posts that you may have a woman who says men are no good. You may have groups on Facebook, groups on other social media platforms where you can have a woman, I'm going to get around to the men now, that say, oh, yes, men are no good. Black men are no good. They're no good. There are some good ones out here. And I can't knock you for saying that, because you may have a real good reason. You may have gone through dating, courting, booty calls, whatever it may be, hoping that this is going to work out, and it didn't, and you got your heart broken. My heart goes out to you when you had to experience that. But we still have to take accountability for the people that we choose to be in our life. On the men's side, the way we're doing, no good. I know it's hard when you see so many beautiful women, but you're going to have some kind of control. A lot of us do. A lot of us don't. And for those who don't, we're leaving a lot of carnage, emotional, physical, mental, financial carnage behind. We're scarring a lot of our sisters. We're hurting them. Irreparable damage in some cases. And they keep going through this thing over and over and over. And this is why they say we're no good. Can you blame them? On both sides, they have legitimate reasons because of their experiences, but it saddens me because the enemy seems to be winning and time is moving on. I have many people that I talk to. I have lots of circles around me. I'm not saying I'm the center of the universe, but you know, the creator is the center and I'm in that center, and I have orbits around me. Some are like Mercury. Every so many days it goes around. Some are like Earth, some like Pluto. Some are like Uranus. Yeah, I got a couple of rainbow people I know. I don't know why they named that planet like that. But anyway, I'm not landing there. But anyway, there's some good people and there's some hurt people and there's some damaged people. I know some people have been done really wrong, a lot of abusive situations. And I want to say something to a lot of our sisters. And when I say young ladies, I mean, if you're 100 years old, you're a young lady to me. Now, I'm younger than you, but I'm not into the age thing, saying, oh, you're old now, because somebody can say that to me, right? But the enemy's winning. We got to put our foot on the brakes really, really hard. And I know some people who have good hearts, who have been through really bad things, but they didn't let that affect them. Right now, she gave me permission. I'm not going to say the whole situation. We spoke a little earlier. We texted a little while ago and voicemailed each other. But she has, as I know many of us and many of our sisters here have great hearts, loving, may have been through a few things, but they never allowed that to stop them from looking forward to the future. And yes, lots of times you're going to have to take some time off and regroup, right? You just don't jump from one thing to the next. But this young lady, yes, she's a younger lady, much younger than me. She still wants to build a family. She still wants to find someone who and she said, even if he's not making more than her, but at least be a financial equal. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. She's not a gold digger. Very ambitious, very beautiful, very smart, very intelligent. And she said, and very feminine. She says she wants to start a family. She said it doesn't matter if the man that she marries is a financial equal. Of course, you're not going to want somebody that you have to, take care of. Now, if you're in a union and something happens to him, I understand that. Ride or die. But there are men who have tried her, who will say and echo the same thoughts, but they don't have that on their mind. They want to use you. And she has been used to a point for a time and abused physically. And this is one of the sweetest souls that you'll ever want to see. What's wrong with these men? Those who are that way. My inner circle that I've known for many years, the majority of them are family men. Wives, children. Maybe they did a couple of crazy things back in the day, but they're pretty much solid. You can't let this social media and the frenzy and the madness and the chaos blur your vision on what can happen. But I understand that many of us are wounded and hurt. But so many of us have been playing the game now. You know, you have women out here who say, oh, well, if this is what they want sex, or they don't want commitment, but they're going to have to do something for me right away. Hence the list that you see, which I exaggerated. No woman whips out a list, you know, before you even get into something with somebody. But it's like that, though. Now, I'm going to have to channel a lot of things that were put in me through people I talked to before doing this. I was out and about, but I was still talking and refreshing my memory, and I got a long memory of things that I've been through. So this is not necessarily my story per se exactly, right? But you look at the love invoice. I'm going to say, I'm patting myself on the back. I made that one up. Love invoice. Now, while no woman really comes out, and I'm not dogging the women, I'm talking about the women who are like that, because we're going to talk about the men who are like their thing, right? And that's why we're at war with each other. And social media is fanning the flames. Keep separated. We want to get rid of you anyway. We don't want you to have no families. We don't want you to have no community. We don't want you to be together at all. We want you to turn. We want all y'all messed up where you're not reproducing. They don't have to just use a cop to shoot you in the head and kill off all young men and all young women, or just put out the drugs. We're doing a good job of it ourselves. But there are women out there, love invoice. If you want to get with me, you're going to have to pay my rent, my car note, my light bill, my transportation, food expenses, insurance, hair and nails, maybe a BBL. So if you break up with me, other men will be looking at me that way. Shopping money, gas money, and more. Payment due immediately. It's crazy. I'm going to mention this again. I think I mentioned it on the show the other night, the one we did last night. See, I promised, I said I'm going to start doing lives around this time. I'm a little later than usual because I was out. But we have Neil Frazier tomorrow, and I'm still going to come with something after that because we had to postpone the show. But like I said before, down through the villages, down into the city, down in the markets, I've gotten to know a lot of people, and I network with them. They look out for me. And there are many of the ladies that sell stuff out there, and we make jokes. I'm a comedian. We got some crazy jokes. You know what I mean? Every time they see me, they start laughing before they see me coming down the block. They start laughing already, you know. There's one who called me up early yesterday. Hello. Oh, hi, how you doing? So I saw her name and I saw how I know her, because each name, I may know like 5 or 10 people with the same name. I said, okay, boom, her name in the market down in Medina. Okay, that's the one, right? Not even a how are you? Oh, hello. I'm like, hi. I said, how are you? I need money. I need you to send me money. Do I owe you something or whatever? I mean, I had to tell her, like, listen, I'm not wealthy or rich. Maybe I will be. I'd like to be, not to ball out and show out, but, you know, invest in certain things. And the whole thing with me is here because this is how I dress: t-shirts, shorts, Crocs. It's hot out here, y'all. I'm not trying to wear something and sweating. I'm in the house now, windows open, and I'm still doing it. I don't have my AC set up yet. It's okay. It's bearable. When I go upstairs, I'm good. But she's telling me she needs this money. And it clicked with me because the last time she saw me a few days before, I said hi to her. She was dealing and she gave me this look. And I'm like, when I paid off one of my bills there and I came, I said, what's wrong? You all right? No, I'm okay. I'm okay. So now, why do I have to give you money? I'm not a cheapskate, but I have to budget. You know, I'm on a limited income. I'm in a different country. Although this is my home now, it's still where it hits me sometime. I wake up in the middle of the night and I look out the window and say, man, I'm in Africa. I'm dreaming in America. And I wake up, it's like it punches you in the face in a good way. Wow, I really made that move. My subconscious is still settling in. But how do people see you? So when you're a young man, which all men are young men, like I say, you be 100 years old, young man. But there are many women out here who are wounded. They're not going to go and feel used anymore because the next man charmed them and spoke about love, but all he wanted was sex. And they do that. And I've said this before. This is not every man, but let's go to a club scenario where you have a man who will approach a woman. Now she's dressed provocatively. And she's fooled now because she knows that she's dressed that way, but he's giving her eye contact. He's talking to her. He's making it seem like he's truly interested in her, not looking down at the boobies or turning around and look in the mirror and see what she got in the backside. He's looking at her. He's talking decent to her. And she's like, wow, he seems to be different. So she gives him attention. They talk on the phone. They connect. He's talking love, but really he wants sex. He's just looking to make her another notch on the belt. Now with the ladies, not all, but some who feel that there are no good men out here, but I have to dress a certain way because I really want love, but I have to put something sensuous or erotic to lure you in. So this is how a lot of women, not all, and I hate to keep saying not all, but see, somebody's going to come to me in the comment section. I'm not like that. So I got to keep saying it. I get attacked a lot that way. They don't do it publicly. They do it on my text, right? Or emails. I get these long books. But they get hurt because they figure they can lure a man in a certain way and turn it into something else. And so these two pieces fit because that combination never works. We got to be real. Got to put your foot down, number one, on what it is that you want on both sides. When you're looking for real love and commitment, that's what it should be all about. And even if it doesn't work out on a love level and commitment level, you can still be in a friendly proximity to each other. You're not going to probably be the best of friends and you meet somebody else you want to get with, but you're saying, well, I was friendly with him, so I'm going out with him. I say, wait a second. I'm supposed to be the person, so you have to give that respect, right? But we're all mixed up and our emotions are used against us big time because we don't take time to break it down what has happened to us and what we've allowed ourselves to fall into. There's a shirt that I have on YouTube here. I forgot how I said it, but it's something about the hospice wife. You have these men who play all of their life. They leapfrog from one relationship to the next, one to the next. And they realize that even the little blue pills are not working anymore. They realize that at a certain age, wow, I played my life away. I need to find a good woman. And so they look for this woman to use now to make up for the lost time that they spent. I happen to know someone like that. I'm figuring out how to say it surgically precise. So I don't, they've been through this platform before, but they really messed up. And it makes you wonder, because he hurt someone recently really bad that was really a ride or die for him. And he had a ride or die before, but he kept messing up. He had a good wife before, back in the 90s. I mean, she stuck with him. I mean, they were together from the 80s into the 90s. She went corporate, that's all I'll say. And it's not because she was making 6 figures plus, but he was with her all that time, came up with her. So the bond should have been tight, super tight. They've been through a lot together, but they grew together, but he grew away and he didn't want to let the street life go. He worked, made good money, not like her, but she didn't care. Come home. You work, you come home. Stay off them streets. There's nothing out there. What's your fascination? But he couldn't stop. And she's at home waiting for him. And I don't look at no friends, woman like that, but I will say she was drop dead gorgeous. Drop dead gorgeous. I say that generically because I wasn't sitting there, she's drop. No, but you can see in the demeanor, in the loving spirit, I'm so disgusted in him. He's out there running around. And she was fun to be around. Lots of times we all would hang out, you know, I'm laughing, telling jokes, we're all having fun. She was hip. She wasn't corny. There's nothing wrong with her. What's wrong with you, man? She wanted to have a family. Scared him, but they were already married. So he goes away for a bit of a time to that place for a couple years, good amount of years. She tried to stick with him, but when she realized that he didn't really want to change, she couldn't keep her life on hold. And I don't blame her. I know there's more to the situation, but I'm just trying to prove a point. So he comes out. He's resentful that she's gone. She's moved on and doing real good, even better. But he still couldn't let go of his old ways. So I'm going to say it this way. I can't say too much detail, but I'm going to say a little bit of the detail. You connect with somebody that you've known already for years, even before, from around the neighborhood, but now you're older and you begin to form a new bond, a different dynamic, but it should have been even more sincere for certain reasons, right? If I tell that, then I'm telling on the person. I don't want to do that right now. Because like I said, I'm very disgusted. So here you are. You're with her for a couple years. You have your little fights back and forth. And you realize you have health problems. Major health problems. And this part I have to say. He had 2 major health problems, but the kidneys were failing. And this woman who you're not married to, who proved to you that she loves you no matter what you've been through before. This is a neighborhood thing. This goes back. She says, allow me to get tested. If you need a kidney, I'll give it to you. That's one of the most major sacrifices you can do. You love this person so much that you're willing to give up your healthy kidney to them. That's it right there. Like they say in court, I have nothing further. And would you believe he still couldn't control his temper? They get into an argument, it gets physical. It happened before. There was already an order of protection that she went against herself to say, come on back. And he does it again. And this girl ain't but so tall, petite. What are you doing? Now you locked away. And you probably won't come out until about 70 years old. Smart, charismatic, can charm you, I know you from childhood. We have a long history together. I know your parents. I know your family. I know deceased family members that you had. There's a root, but I can't respect what you've become. See, we only have so much time on this earth, and we should be getting it together, because most of us, I hate to say it, I'm not saying to anybody in the chat room specifically, but most of us are not going to live the lives that we fantasize about until we can defeat what it is on the inside of us that's holding us back. We're looking way down the road, like you guaranteed to have that time. You're not. Like I said, in the last month, 4 people from the neighborhood and from another neighborhood over that I know personally, they're gone. Whatever it is that you have to do, do it. Whatever it is that you have to work on it. But you're not going to find somebody good for you in a relationship until you work on yourself under your own hood. And when you lift the hood of your vehicle, you know what it is that's inside of it. So all the resentments, all the anger, all of the, oh, them women ain't no good, or them men ain't no good, that's going to be the buffer between you meeting somebody good, because you're going to see somebody good, run into them, and you're going to have this in the back of your mind, and it ain't going to happen. It doesn't mean you even have to be with anybody. I'm not even pushing that on you. Some people say, listen, I just want to be by myself. I'm not hurt. I just want to ride out. That's cool if you're happy with that. But the biggest thing, lots of us look and we scrutinize and we say to ourselves, oh no, I can't be with this because, well, what about you? I'm not throwing off anybody, but what about the junk in your own yard? What about the stuff that we sweep under the rug? What about the stuff that we throw in the closet when somebody rings the bell unexpectedly, that we don't want to see the junk? The more we cleanse ourselves and the more we make ourselves better, is the more the universe will open up and have somebody cross our path. That's the way it works. But social media will have you all clogged up in your mind, messed up. And you look around and it's time for you to graduate, and you didn't taste the sweetness of having a shot at a relationship where you can build, have a family. Like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to have that if you don't want that. But a lot of us never had an example of that. So normalcy is whatever it is that we grew up with. And a lot of us gravitate toward normalcy. It may not be good, but it's normalcy for us. Let's just say there's a young boy who has a father who is alcoholic, beating his wife, beating his mother, the man's wife and his mother. He worked the job. That's all he did. Didn't bring any wisdom into the house, didn't bring any guidance, any structure, any example. Because more so than you speaking to a child and saying, this is the way you do it, you have to show them. I never saw squirrels out there with young squirrels saying, well, sit down for a second. Let me tell you how to climb the tree. No, he's showing you how to do it. They learn when they play how to use their bodies so that when they find themselves in danger, they know how to whip their tail around and get away from danger. But if that's normal for that young man, then guess what? I'm not saying he's going to grow up and just be that. But if he loses some self-control and he's used to seeing that, it'll be easier for him to put his hand on his woman. And I know a lot of guys who have grown up in situations like that and they never did it because they said they wanted to be better. So let me just put that out there. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but a lot of us fall into that trap of what we think is normal, and we go through with it. A young lady sees the same situation. That's normalized. So when she finds a man and he's that way, or maybe she gravitates toward a man that way who treated her nice at first, but she senses under the surface that there's an air of danger to him. Maybe she's sitting in the restaurant with him and they're courting, they're just sort of dating, and there was a discrepancy with the bill, And he flared up at the waitress and cursed her out of the way. And so, oh man, you know, I never saw him this way. And this is what I've heard with people. It's different situations. I never seen him that way. But Lance, you know what? It turned me on. And that was a red flag and a precursor to what he might do to her. This little thing pops up and we ignore it because we want to hold on to the illusion that this person's perfect. Find out what it is that they have to work on. Everybody has something that they're working on. Just like when you go to a job interview, you have your resume perfect. The little 2 or 3 months gaps here and there, you filled it in. Well, I was doing charity work. You did everything to make yourself look good. But when they hit you with the question, what do you feel your weak points are? What do you feel that you have to work on? And you're sitting there like Ralph Cramden off the honeymoon, is humada, because you don't want to say anything bad about yourself, right? But they like it when they can get you to be honest, right? So you better have an answer ready for that. And when things are going good in a potential relationship and you're caught up in all the euphoria, whatever that may be for you, I don't even have to know, but you're riding high. You better find out. You better investigate. But at the same time, you need to find out within yourself what you need to work on, right? Because the better you make yourself is the highest standard of what will be given to you. But if you don't work on yourself, you're not going to have that much of a choice. Let me look at some of these comments here. You know, when I start talking my mouth. Oh, yes. Perfect timing. We got Brother Boz coming on in. Yes, your line is open. Let me turn my little speaker here so I can hear you talk, brother. Talk to me.
Brother Lance, how you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm glad to see you.
Oh, brother, I'm glad to see you too, brother. Like always, brother, you are in rare form. You know, something told me, because I haven't been getting your notifications, and something said, well, just tune in to Brother Lance. And, you know, we're hearing about Ukraine and Iran. I said, well, I want to hear what Brother Lance has to say.
Right. Thank you so much.
Here I am, brother. And I would say greetings to your intelligent audience as well.
Yes, and thanks for bringing even more intelligence to the panel.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And
thank you.
You know, I'll call her my life coach. I always call her Customato, right? And
yeah.
She'll pop in under a different name, of course. You know, let me say, wait a second. I just looked at the comment here. What the hell? We ain't gonna really. Let me see something here. I look like what? Let me see here. Like you shoot weak loads. Sorry, what you talking? Oh, that's a troll. First of all, I want to comically address it. When I see a man as a straight man, I'm not worried about if he shot weak loads or not. I don't know if it's shooting the talk or shooting loads. I don't know. That's kind of suspect to me. Maybe you're in the wrong place.
That's like these guys, Lance in the gym. I saw a couple of guys, two white guys. They were working out, you know, and they were discussing which one is best, beef or chicken.
Right.
And I was just listening to them, you know, see where this conversation is going. And I said, you guys, you know, I don't mean to butt in your conversation, but I had said that, you know, both of them have their advantages, but I said, I'll give it slightly to beef because beef has creatine in it, right?
Right.
And then they said, oh, okay, yeah, man, you know, we're just talking. So then they start telling me about what their goals are, because, you know, we still in, you know, we just had the New Year and all these resolutions. Right. And when they said, hey, man, we're getting ready for the beach party, and we want to look good, I said, 6-pack abs? He said, yeah, how did you know? I said, yeah. I said, I can't help them, man. They jumped over the edge. And the reason why I bring that up, because usually men want to look at other men's abs. You know, women don't care about abs. Women, you know, as long as you functionable as a man, they care more about that, you know, with a nice overall build.
Well, we're so influenced by what the media puts out, and we don't think anymore. When you look many decades ago, what a man was, he worked, and this is not everybody that had to fit this, but he went out, He had his family. He worked. He wasn't worried about doing his fingernails. You know what I mean? I'm not saying everybody
Yeah,
was blue
true,
collar or working in the field, but
true.
men, they came home, they ate, they did this. They didn't worry about the next man in these levels. We have so many
Hmm.
men these days that, okay, you're an adolescent coming up, you see a next guy, you 15, 16 years old, man, look, his arms are pretty big. You look at yourself,
Hmm.
that's the phase for
Hmm.
that. But we have a lot of men these days, not all, but they're really worried about what you do, who you with, like worrying about intimacies and all of this stuff.
Hmm.
And I hate to use the word, I'm gonna just spell it out. We have a lot of male bitchs out here that are
Hmm.
focused on the wrong thing.
Right,
There have been
right.
guys that I've crossed paths with on social media over the last 25 years.
Hmm.
Some have been bloggers, some they've used YouTube, but they really didn't get into it. They had knowledge on certain things. There's one guy I know that he was deep into politics, right?
Hmm.
But for some reason, he didn't really. Now, you don't have to like me.
Hmm.
You can come on the show and not like me.
Hmm.
Just express and let people hear another side. It's not just about me.
Be
But
respectful.
I had a picture up. This had to be like maybe 15 years ago. Me and Miss Scurv went to the beach. We were in Orlando. We went to the beach. What beach was it? Oh God, but it was right there on the East Coast. And she took a picture of me, and I lifted up my shorts because we didn't go to swim or nothing, right? We just
Hmm.
walked on the beach. I lifted up my shorts, and I flexed my leg.
Hmm.
So it didn't look the way it did when I was much younger, but it still did look like something. Like, whoa.
Right.
You know, he wrote a whole column. Why would he go there and Photoshop his leg like that and put somebody else's leg? He know he don't have muscles in his leg like that. Blah, 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 and went on. Why are you exposing yourself with this bitch mentality? You a grown man.
Hmm.
He would come on shows or the conversations when I was doing Blog Talk Radio, and he wanted to get in on the panel, but I already had experiences with him where he was always trying to disrupt the show. And I want to say the Honorable Brother Akbar Muhammad passed away. And you're not going to see that on all of the mainstream media. You know, he's come to my house. I've had dinner with him.
You mean the Nation of Islam?
Yes, he was second in
Yeah.
command of
Okay.
Nation of Islam.
Right. Right. The brother, he traveled. He was in Ghana, right? He had a house in Ghana, didn't
Back and forth in Ghana, and he was
he? Yeah.
making
Yeah.
cheese
Yeah.
in Ghana.
Yeah. Okay.
I met him through, Vibrant and Malik, who we had the show Sunday nights,
Hmm.
and really up close and personal. He's been to my house. I have a little video clip that I had, but all the other interviews that I did with him face to face and over the phone, they're gone. I still have his phone number in my phone,
Hmm.
but yeah, I just wanted to say that. And like I said,
Wow. Wow.
he's
Wow.
second in command all these
Yeah.
years. If something had happened to the minister, it was
Hmm.
him who, and had a lot of private conversations and stuff like that. It was,
Yeah.
it bothered me because like mainstream, so-called mainstream media is not going to honor this man the way they should.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Of
Like
course.
so many people he affected
Yeah.
and influenced. And a little couple times, I remember we were out in Tampa, and I forgot the function. There was one thing that they did something for the birthday of Malcolm X, but there was something else, and we all sitting around the table. So I'm sitting there, I'm polite. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm not going to
Hmm.
run my mouth. The depths of the conversations that they had was really awesome. Mr. Scurv was there, and I said a few things, asked a few things, whatever have you, but it was a private thing. I wasn't gonna pull out a camera and put it in everybody's face and they eat and stuff. So I have those little memories like that. And so this is why I say, and this is off topic, that when we have people in our lives, they don't have to be famous, but we have the ability to record them and talk to them if
Hmm.
they want. Now, I'm not, just don't shove a camera right in their face. But there's so much that he probably could share more, but we don't have it. And Brother Malik today shared a funny story that I can't share. Um, Can't share that one. He told me, I trust you, Lance. I won't. But I'll say that it was a funny story with Akbar and somebody else who we all know. And just to show the human side of ourselves and impart whatever wisdom we've accrued, and we don't have to be famous for that. You know, you could be funny, you could tell your jokes, but give people something that they didn't see, some kind of development, some kind of place where we came from as a people or whatever, so they can run with that. But we're losing that. And again, back to the core topic, are relationships worth it? They are worth it, but you have to connect with somebody and just not connect with somebody on surface face value. There's just too much foolishness going on.
I agree.
It's based on lust most of the time from the men's side. And men will act as though they have this and have that, and they're going to get called to task on that. And then turn around and say, wow, these women want to take me for my money, whatever. Who wants to be bothered with that? Meet somebody and start out from where you are. If you're already established and have some years under your belt, take your time.
Right.
So many people have leapfrogged, you know, back and forth with jumping different relationships when you could have settled down, quiet, get to know yourself, perfect yourself, and take your time. And you'd have less wear and tear on your mind, your body, and your soul. So I've seen it. I've seen it. And a good relationship, man, it will carry you a long way.
Yes, it will.
Undergird you, and you feed into it. Right. And you don't look for anything back. You give, but you have to make sure that person is worthy, and you have to make sure you're worthy, and you deserve it. But I'll say to the men, stop breaking these women's hearts.
Yeah.
Be straight up.
And can I say something, Brother Lance?
Go ahead, brother.
I tell these brothers, I'm tired of getting. I don't get them as much now than like I used to. But I was tired of brothers coming to me, calling me, telling me about some brother jumped on some sister.
Welcome in, rightly so. I see you.
Just jumping on these sisters. Some brother jumped on some sister. I mean, I say, brother, come on, man. Well, she this and she that. I said, well, brother, if you got to beat on the sister, you don't need to be with her. Point blank.
Yeah.
You know what they say, what Neely Fuller say, first time, last time. The first time the man hit you should be the last time. You should be walking out the door. I know everybody can't, you know, some women's situations don't allow that. But if a man to beat a woman, he'll beat a dog.
Yeah.
I think my wife and I think the most we ever got into in terms of an argument is that I think I might have pushed her or something like that. You know, because I was trying to get past her. She was standing in my way. You know, she like
that's not a bad thing.
She beat that in front of me. I was like Joe Clark. No, but I had to move her out the way. But hitting her, no.
Right? No.
And we've been married over 20 years, brother. And like, no,
see that?
No.
See,
but see, here's another thing, Brother Lance. Too. You mentioned that most of the time. Unfortunately, we tend to mimic. It could be fortunate. We tend to mimic what our parents did, what we saw growing up.
Right.
So if a young man sees his father beating up his mother, then he will assume that's normal behavior. Because here's the flip side to that. I've met some females who believe that if a man is not beating them, he don't love them.
He don't love exactly, and so they'll push you into a situation where they feel they're going to make you hit them because that's what feels good to those types, because that was the example that they never grew away from. You know, whatever dysfunction anyone has had in their life when they were younger and they go to a friend's house and that thing is not happening there, most of the time they say, wait a second, it's different over here. I like it over here. There's not the same chaos. Wow. And they get around more and get exposed more, and they realize that what was going on in their house isn't normal. And after a while, they can break away from that. But there's some who don't have that experience or don't even have that reasoning to think, well, this isn't normal. So you have them women who I've seen it. And I've seen men fall into the trap, get arrested, come back. It's like binge purge. You eat something bad. Now you want to purge yourself of it, and it's back and forth, and it never ends until somebody's really locked up bad, dead. I've seen people who, you know, years of fighting, it got worse and worse, and you hear the gunshot, boom. Oh man, and somebody's dead, somebody's going away, and the family's all messed up because it will keep going.
Yep.
We got to prepare ourselves to be better people. And, you know, we all have come through different challenges. You just can't accept it. Well, that's just the way it is. Just like what we said last night. Well, I'm just big boned. You know, no, it's, you eating at the same refrigerator, right? No, break away from that bad boy, right? Nah, it's the atmosphere.
Last, I was gonna do like your girl said, Esther Rose said from Good Times. Damn.
Yeah, damn. Exactly. That's how it is. We accept this stuff as normalcy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's beautiful when I see people come up in those atmospheres, those environments of being so dysfunctional, and they've worked on themselves and pulled themselves away. So they become the Marilyn Munster of the Munsters. Like the whole family is dysfunctional, but they're the ones that look
right.
They know
you figure it's like she's saying you see on the street, you talking to her, and she said she fine. You know, you're looking at her like she said, yeah, and I got a whole family. You know, she may even have some sisters. You say, man, I bet they fine too. Until you get over like what? Is this the real house? Yep. You live next door, right? This is oh no, this is my family. Ghetto fabulous.
Serious. You know? And then you see their connection to it, and you know already if you get involved with this person, what it's gonna be. It's like that so much. You know, they open their mouth and it's ignorant or lack of culture or awareness. It doesn't mean you have to, you know, but you should be able to know how to deal with different types of people. And you can go out with somebody who has that mentality and it will embarrass you so bad.
Yes, it will.
And you're like, oh man, I can't. No, I can't. You can't. But you superimposed your epitome of what you think a woman was onto this person, but it wasn't them. It was you. You see what I mean? I'm not saying you personally.
Right.
Many of us, and women do it with men. You know, they find some little reason to, but the guy's a bum. But he's so cute. He got a nice six-pack. Huh? And they talk about six-pack, and just the same guys talk about the backside. Man, she got a banging booty. Is that going to help raise your kids?
And he's in the studio right now. He's recording another song for his demo that he's gonna get a Warner Brothers and
and he's
Columbia
52 years old. Yeah.
Talking about still rapping like I saw Mark in the park after dark.
And look at that, you serious when he's doing it.
He's still rapping like Curtis Blow.
Banging. When I drop this work, the world's gonna, and she's sitting here believing in that.
Yeah. I made a new remix to If I Love the World, Girl, I love all the If I
he really means it too, but she don't realize he's got 3 baby mamas coming on the way. Yep. Let me tell you something. I know people. Look, I'm just gonna throw my brother under the bus. That's my way of dealing with it. I'm not throwing him under the bus. He did it himself. He's college educated, smart, was always on drugs. Whatever pain he felt, I don't understand it, but you know, he always got this guy can manipulate. I always said it. If I step to the side and let him talk, he'll make you believe I'm the crackhead. For real. You know, he been online all this time. He been driving the bus. He worked in the jail. You know, he got all these talent, but he the crackhead. No, he'll do anything he wants you to believe. If you let him Vulcan mind meld you, it's gonna happen. Start looking at me like, unsubscribe. He ain't mess with Lance no more. And he would get with women who, and I'm not saying this in some stereotypical way, but we know what it is.
Right.
It was like one of his requirements was that she had to be a welfare queen, living in some hotel with 5 or 6 different babies, all from different baby daddies. So that way he would impregnate that woman and get the benefit of her benefits and go across town and get another one that way. And I used to hate it when he would come around with one of them women. We might be having a little cookout in the backyard or whatever. He comes by. And I don't think I'm better than nobody, but it'd be I'm gonna make up a word, the most ghetto-fied coming around. Yeah, look, to one of her sons. We're just making this up because this has happened a lot, right?
Right.
Your uncle got muscles. Flex for your nephew. I'm like, my damn nephew. Who is it? You know what I mean? I'm young, right? Bringing this type around. Yeah, we family. No, we not.
Why don't you go over to your uncle?
I love the song until I heard this one woman who fit the bill, and she broke out, and the song played, "We are family."
Why don't you go over there to your uncle and ask him for $20?
That almost happened. I'll take pictures of the stuff and telling my brother, "Oh, your folks got a nice house. They got a nice house. Are you on the wheel?
Are you on the wheel? What am I expecting an accident? Are you on the wheel?"
My mother couldn't take it.
Are you holding the deed?
Yeah. I hate that. You see me in the street, so hey, so and so, this my brother-in-law right here. No, different mindset.
Lance. You mentioned about your brother. I don't necessarily have siblings like that, but I got cousins like that. I mean, brother, I got cousins as such crackheads. They can run for the president. They can do a better job than the president. You hear them in the press conference, and they say, "Leon, what are you gonna do about the fence?" "Well, when I get it fixed, I'm erect and have it painted."
Exactly. And I've known so many, and especially in Orlando. I mean, I knew them in New York, but working with the incarcerated in Orlando, that really made it up close and personal. And then after that, driving the bus and seeing the same people when they get out.
Right.
But I always say, there's one guy that took a long time to break the category that he was in. This guy didn't get a job until he was 52 years old. 52. From when he was a juvenile, 13, 14 years old, he was getting locked up. He'd get released on Friday and he's back locked up on Monday. I said, "Didn't we just release you?" He's back in the cell. Like, oh man. But there was something about him. I'm not going to say all, because the way he's living now, let me tell you something. One day, this is after I worked at the jail, I was driving the bus. He used to ride with me. And I never shunned his company because he was a smart guy. He was a comedian, but he was smoking. Yeah, let him ride, no problem, keep me company. And then one day, he looked at me, I'm driving, he's sitting on the side. I'm at the red light. So I hear somebody crying. I looked over and it was him. And he said, "Scurv," because he used to call me Scurv in the jail too. "Scurv, I can't take it no more, man. I can't take this no more. I'm not living like this no more, man. I'm just not living like that." And sometimes in your mind you say, "Well, I hope he's feeling it so he can change." Right. And there's the other side. "Okay, you'll be back on that stuff tomorrow." I didn't really think that. I just experienced the moment. So his mother let him stay at the house, but he was in the garage, separate garage. and it was dilapidated, all kind of stuff crawling. He's got an itch, holes in the sea. It's raining. He got to put buckets and sleep a certain way. But she was tired of him being inside and things were missing. So I saw him with this bike. And I'm like, I'm surprised this guy didn't try to sell it. So he had the bike and put it on a rack in front of the bus. And the route that I was doing was going way out to the east side. I never did this route a lot. I said, where are you going? He said, I'm going over to Brevard County. There's a job out there that I can do. I said, okay, more power to you, but it's like 10:30 at night and you're going out there for a job now? No. In the morning tomorrow, I gotta be there early. See, he rewired himself in that crack sense of urgency. He turned it into something righteous. And he was like, I ain't smoking 4 days. I'm gonna get this job. See, to me, I'm not saying to take crack, but there's something about crackheads that when they do crack, they go over and above. They're only doing stuff to get crack, but they will come up with all kind of ideas on how to sell stuff and do stuff. They get that money for the crack. That tells me about the human potential. What if we, who don't do any substances, right, could go under our hood and rewire ourselves to be supremely motivated to get things done? Because usually we get a little job, a little check, okay, I'm working with it. No, but what about supercharging yourself with what you know you have inside of you to get so many things done and be disciplined? The determination of a crackhead without being a crackhead. So he went out there to the job, some warehouse with nothing but these rednecks, and he had to do some menial stuff, but he ended up going out there and sleeping in front of the place with his bike, and he got the job. And it didn't pay him much. And his bicycle, after 2 days, because something happened, the tires were flat, he would stay out there all week. He'd use a water hose and dishwashing liquid to clean himself and had a toothbrush. He didn't have nowhere to stay, but they let him sleep outside under this awning. Crazy. But he got the job. He kept the job. He worked in a particular factory, I won't say because it'll reveal whatever, manufacturing certain things, repetitious work. He did that. He did the 2 jobs. And then he'd go all the way out. And I'm seeing him change. And there was a certain trade that he was an apprentice under, and then he went to school to get the certification, and he got it. And he did another one, and he got it. And he printed up cards, and he started doing jobs. I didn't see him for a while. I'm sitting at the red light. I hear bim, 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 bim. I see a brand new Toyota pickup truck with his name on the side.
Oh, wow.
He had his own business now.
Wow.
And he had some guys sitting in the back. He said, hey, man, I'm just so happy you never gave up on me. Man, I wanted to cry.
So that it makes me want to cry. That's a success story. Because when you was talking, hold on, when you said he was sleeping outside, you know, with the bike.
Brevard County, right?
When you said that, Lance, when you said that, Lance, I thought for a hot second. I said, what if he went through all that and this brother be a millionaire one day? And you talk about a success story, because they always say it's not always where you start out at, it's where you finish.
Exactly.
And I said, wow. Yeah.
Look, he had been locked up all his life up until the age of 52. And he always had a light demeanor about him. It wasn't like he was like some scruffy, whatever. He had a light to him, because I saw him one time in a real bad neighborhood, but they had this restaurant had some good food, right? It was an industrial area by day, crackheads, prostitutes at night, but still there was traffic going through. Orange Blossom Trail, if you know Orlando. And I saw him. He said, hey, man, how you doing? What's going on? Guy's real tall, too. Hey, well, you know, so I said, come on, man. Let me get you something to eat. For real? So he never let himself look so bad and dirty and scruffy. You know what I mean? Even though he had to live in the mother's garage and all that stuff. So we talking some motivational, intellectual stuff. I said, man, that's why I like you, man. You something about you. He said, yeah, man. Yeah, I can see that you believe me, man. You just spend all this money on my food. So
right.
But then now, here's the one that really knocked me out. I didn't see him. Mutual people were telling me about him. He had employees, a registered business. He wasn't skinny, but the guy looks strong now. I'm in Walmart. I have all of my groceries in the cart. I'm next one up. So all of a sudden, somebody taps me on my shoulder. And so we have a little catchphrase that we use that was a song back in the 60s. We make jokes on it. So he said that before I realized. I said, oh man, what's going on? It's clean. And the resilience in his eyes, you know. And he's like, Lance, man, that's you? Talking about my cart. He said, go on and get some more stuff, man. I said, no, I'm good. I got what, and I had a lot of stuff there all under the bottom. It was all up top. He says, I got you. I said, huh? He said, don't worry, man. I got you, man. I said, you know, and then he hugged me. Wow. Cashier said, what the hell going on here? He got him. He's gonna pay for his stuff now. He's hugging him. And I started crying. Not but you know, I was like, man. He says, I know, man, I know. Thanks. I was like, wow.
Hey, Lance, it wasn't a party, but he said, but I'll cry if I want to. The lady looking. This may not be a party, but I'm going to cry because I want to. And you know what? I was thinking about that. And see, here's the thing, Lance. When he was in that garage with the buckets, it wasn't his time to shine yet.
Right.
It wasn't time yet.
Right.
But there was something inside of him, Lance, that said, when he was on the bus, when you saw him, and he was saying, man, this is, you know, he was like almost like this rope going to that job.
Yep.
That was the turning point.
Well, let me tell you, with that bus route, it was in Orange County. Orange County is pretty much in the middle of Florida, between the east and the west, but a little more toward the east. I'm sorry, the west. And we all know about the attractions, International Drive and Disney and that stuff. But once you get past a certain point, there's nothing out there. They got a place called Christmas, right? You have Route 50, Colonial Drive, and a little town called Christmas. Racist. Racist. And it's nothing but a long stretch of road. There's no buses past the point to get to Brevard County where everything is busy. So there was one night when he was going back out there, he put his bike on the rack, and the front tire, it was just a rim. And he was riding on that. I noticed those little things. So I say, hey man, you know, I got you with that, man. You need a tire on it. He said, no. You don't understand, brother. I got to go through this on my own. This is something I got to deal with. This is going to be part of my story.
I heard that.
Look at that. But it was, and he was always told me, he said, man, if you ever need anything, I got you. I used to come and hang out when he was in my areas, when I had certain areas to look over. Certain day rooms and stuff. I go in there and talk with him. Sometimes at night he's up, because you know those guys don't never really sleep. You know, they're up talking, they fall asleep 2 or 3 in the morning and get up for 5 or 6 for breakfast and go back to sleep sometime, unless they do their yard time or whatever. And so we'd have these conversations and we goof and joke, because I'm going to goof with you. We're going to joke and tell some stories and stuff. But to see, you know, and you know, my Facebook pages, and anybody who sees one of my Facebook pages or 2 of them, the so-called fan page, the business page, the one you like, I have no access to that. So if you notice that I haven't posted on there from last year, you know, they screwed me over with that. I made another page that's new, but it's just a personal page. I'm not going to do the fan page thing anymore. But I just recently sent a request to him, and he, I was thinking about him. I said, let me see if I can find him, and I did, and he reconnected with me. So, we'll be talking. But I always wanted him to come on, even if he did it in a faceless way, because he's such a respectable businessman right now. He's not ashamed of his story, but that's part of his past. But I would still like for him, even if he came on live, and just don't show his face, but just and tell us more than what I even experienced, because he told me a lot. You know what I mean? The rats that were trying to come into the garage, and they had a stick, and he's sleeping, and had to keep hitting. He said, "Man, I couldn't even afford to get any rat poison because I was still trying to get the crack." Right? I was like, "Oh man." And there are other amazing people that I know like that. There's another person who went to the depths really bad. This brother was so brilliant. I won't even get into the details of that, but this brother was so brilliant. I met him, and I was working a part-time job with him. And he was so brilliant that Ebony Magazine wrote an article on him. And he was in his early 20s. He was so smart. He went to two universities in the Northeast. I won't say because that'll, but he fell and got on crack. And he told me some amazing stories. And with his brilliance and with his scholastic, his accomplishments, he ended up working for this company to the point where he was handling $1 million accounts. And he would always laugh with me, but he was honest with them about his prior addiction. But they saw he was so brilliant, and he was, but visually he was gruff. That life, a little overweight, voice was really rough, but this guy had the gift of discernment. He took to me quick. "Man, I like you, man. There's something about you." And people would think he was a clown. I said, "Man, this guy's smart." And in that company, he went up higher. And then he fell again, but I lost contact with him. And when I did get back in contact with him, I was always searching him. He said, "Man, I fell again. But you know what? I'm right on back on my feet." He got married, but he said, "Listen, you got to always be on guard." And that's another one that I want to have come on and talk, even if he doesn't show his face. So I have all of these people that I've crossed paths with that are phenomenal, and they got real stories to tell. We can look at the things that we see on movies and get motivated. I understand that, but I have known, and we all know, we all have been through knowing people who have succeeded, and sadly some who haven't. But me, I think I had more than my share of people that I knew that succeeded, and they were open enough to tell me the things that they went through, stories that make you cry, but tears of joy that it can be done. So that's why I'll never give up in anything. I might get set back here and there, but I got to have the determination of a roach, the determination of a crackhead. I'm not a crackhead, right? But I got to tap into that thing that drug activates, or certain circumstances activate. And we all need rest. We all need to back up some time and say, okay, I've been through something. Let me take a couple of weeks, a month or two, and just chill. But I'm coming back. And I learned that you never give up, because somebody's always passing the baton to you. And if you don't move forward, you're letting them down, and all of the people in the bloodline and just in the positioning that pass the baton to them. So you have to keep going on. You have to keep relating, motivating, and keep pushing, because you don't know who you're passing the baton to, who, it's like my brother, and he has a daughter, my niece. She's high up. She's one of the top entertainment lawyers in the United States. And I've showed, I won't say a name, but yeah, my niece practically grew up under me. So out of him, who has the con man skills and stuff, that thing was passed to her in a righteous way, right?
The gift to gab.
Yeah. But the knowledge, and her mother kept her strict and everything, and she's up there.
I'm going to say something. Thank you for sharing that, Lance. I want to share two things real quick. It's kind of coming out of what you just said. It's been my experience, one, that most people who use drugs are not bad people.
Right.
Drugs, in most civilized nations outside the United States, drugs is treated as a mental health issue. Just because a person may use crack, even if they use cocaine or even if they use marijuana, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It
Right.
only means that there's something inside of them that's missing, because if they didn't use the drugs, that sensation would already be there. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
wouldn't have to be reaching out something externally to
There's
make
a
them
void.
feel a certain way.
Right.
Right, because it's based on something that's operating inside of them, and they're looking for a feeling that they can't get when they're sober. That's one. Secondly, the reason why we have to be very careful, knowing that, the reason why we got to be very careful, because sometimes in people's families and their DNA, a person, let's say you might have had a relative older than you who was on drugs, and sometimes drugs affects people differently. And what
Mhm.
may seem like a casual hit from a drug will be a possible lifetime experience, because there are certain people who are prone to certain kinds of behavior. It's like drinking alcohol. There's
Right.
some people say, "Man, I can't drink because in my DNA there have been people in my family that once they taste alcohol, they turn into alcoholics." You see, there's
Right.
like a DNA. There's like a DNA kind of thing there. So
Yeah.
some people say, "Man, I just stay away from it," because most of us as Black people, we know that in our families, on one side of
Mhm.
the family, you got a large crackheads. On another side, you got a large bunch of alcoholics
Yep.
in your family. We know
Yeah.
this
Right.
because, on the mother side and or the father side, whichever. But we know this because we see them and we talk to them, because I have it in my family. So
Right.
that's why, even I mean, I did things when I was younger, but I got older.
Right.
I said, "Man, I can't do this, man,"
Right.
because the more you do it, the more hard it is to get away from it, because it's going back, I think, to the DNA thing.
Yeah.
That once you start doing it, it is hard to let it go, because in that family and that bloodline, that's like something that's a serious addiction.
Like a stronghold.
Even if it's a strong addiction, even if it's just done casually, it's a
Right.
strong addiction. Yeah.
Spot
So we
on.
have,
You're right about that.
yeah, yeah,
You think about it.
yeah.
It's going to take, it's like a cloud keeping you from seeing the sun.
Right.
So you don't believe the sun is there. And when you
Mm-hmm,
have those moments when the sun shines through and you
mm-hmm,
realize, like, whoa, and it's going to take some kind of strong something. I knew a guy who was almost at a point where he was coming out of his crack use, a neighborhood guy. He used to come
mm-hmm,
around and do our yards and we give him money. We
mm-hmm,
know what he was using it for.
mm-hmm.
Um, his oh God, what his name? Oh God. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say the song and the singer. I'm not gonna say what his name was.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the song from Tanya Gardner? Heartbeat. It makes you feel so real. Back in 81, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's his family.
Mm-hmm.
That's his family.
Mm-hmm.
And she rose to this level for a time. And he was living life, went to the service. I remember he was telling me about a story when he was locked up in Turkey. He was in the military,
Mm-hmm.
muscular guy, little guy, but muscular. But the one thing about him, he would always do work for people. Any dirty work that you wanted, he was there to do it. He would ask you, please, I'll do it for you. Even
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it for you. You can pay me next month or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he never stole.
Mm-hmm.
He never stole. He'd tell you, listen, I'm coming here. That's not what I do. I work for what it is that I get. You know, unfortunately, what I do, but that is not going to make me cross any line to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
A crackhead who doesn't steal,
Mm-hmm.
that existed in him. I don't know about
Mm-hmm.
anybody else. So
Mm-hmm.
we all have our different levels of how low we will go.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have some people who are not even on drugs, but they'll throw you under the bus to get more fame or more attention or some material item. You see what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Or
Mm-hmm.
cut between you to get this deal that you're supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to look at things on an individual level, although we know generally you're not gonna let no crackhead come in your house. And
Mm-hmm.
he's come in my house, seen things. It's not like, let me take my money and hide it. But there are people who half knew him, like, hey, Lance, man, I saw you had a little money on the table and we're in the backyard now and you left him in the house. Just don't worry about it. Now, it took me a while to really grasp that, but I see that with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a time I was in the supermarket, I was a couple bills short. And he, I got it for you. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And some people were like, he gave you money? I gave it back to him.
Yeah, well, let's see again. Drug addicts are not bad people.
Right.
So people see this is what the culture has done in America. It's made the war against drugs, the war against obesity, the war against this, the war against that. The American public has been warred on, and we've been warred on so hard that when we see people who may have a drug addiction issues, we tend to like frown on them like they did something horrible. And drug use, I mean, they're using the drug because who uses drug not to get a feeling?
Right.
You're using the drug because you're trying to get a feeling. And the feeling is a feeling that you don't get when you're sober. So like I said, the brother, I respect his honesty because at least he knows why he's doing what he's doing.
Right.
You know why he's doing.
See, my brother now, vicious. He gonna get what he gonna get. He don't give a damn about you. He gonna use you like certain ones now. Like when they say that the drug has turned this person into someone else, or it robbed them of their humanity. They're gutted. Anything good was taken away. But they know how to talk to you because they know the emotional buttons to push to make you see them as the person they were before they were on drugs. Like you have mothers that, oh, that's my son, that's my child, so, and he's playing that role to push those buttons to get something out of you. I've seen that in my own, my mother and him. He knew how to manipulate her. My mother's sweetest woman in the world, all the good stuff, everything, good childhood, everything, all that stuff. But he had her number. He had a number, and it was really when she faced it, and she just died. Like she just had the second stroke, and it was because of that. Because me and her had a talk. I wasn't never pointing fingers but she was real about it. And shortly after, the pain of realizing that she always had hope for him. One day, whatever wasn't happening with him. He's still alive. You can't find him on Google or anything. He's not going to do social media. But people will call, hey man, Lance, so your brother, man, he's not looking too good. I said, where'd you see him? He was up in Harlem. See, there's a lot of things I got to deal with emotionally because of that. And my mother, my father was a stepfather. So, he tried to embrace him, but it's easier to say, okay, but it was a lot that I had to go through now as the sole survivor of that line, which I have children behind me, but I'm the one left. You know what I mean? So I had to make sure to keep myself straight because I went through some periods too, in my life, and I've told that story before. And after I tell this, we'll talk a little more. I'm gonna wrap it down because I want to get up early and get out there. I got a ton of cinder blocks in the back of the carport. I got to take way to the front. And the guy that helps me, he's not available tomorrow, but I want to get it done tomorrow. So I got to muscle up tomorrow. But yeah, when I got the phone call after my mother passed away, it was about 2 months after she passed away. And me and him weren't in contact because me and him had a physical altercation with him that he didn't get the best of. And it was at the breaking point, right? But he called me up out of nowhere, right? And, hey, man, what's going on? Now, mind you, we never talked. Our mother passed away. I remember exactly where I was sitting to. Say, hey, man, what's going on? I said, nothing much. So, you got something to tell me? I said, what? You probably already know. I said, Mommy died. Yeah. I heard about that, but I'm just saying, did I get anything? Oh man, that was like somebody. I've been punched in the face in fights and stuff like that, but that thing, couldn't believe it. That's when I knew that he was gutted. You're not even sad. You're not even hurt. You just worried about what you can get. And you're the one who convinced her to cancel her own insurance. And guess who had to foot the bills? Which I have no regret because, so I had to deal with a lot. There's all kind of spiritual stuff going on, all kind of major other things, relationships. So when I write these things on human nature, it ain't out of book. It's from experience.
Say, Lance, you wanted to turn his face. You wanted to turn his face into a catcher's mitt. He was so upset.
I did already. That's a whole other story. I'm not proud of it, but I did. I had to on that one. When we'll talk. You know, on LanceScurvX.com, we'll get more into these things. I talk. The people here who heard these stories already, but I'm gonna get the juicy there because on that platform, I found out you can stream exclusively on that platform, and I can put tidbits of it on YouTube to get you to come. All the person has to do is put the email address in, and they'll get all the, they'll get the notifications for that. You know what I mean? And then there's a pay sign if they want to throw $5 a month. So I'm not asking for that. I do this anyway, right? So you're gonna get everything. So it's not like to pay people get some exclusive. I told them that straight up, right? So anyway, it hit me in the face because there was some stock money that she had invested in or whatever, and had to give it to him. And about 2 weeks after, he was asking me if I had something left. I'm like, I got something left, but you're not getting it. And this had to go to, it wasn't for me to go hang out. I had to take care of things. And there's other things going on. So, you know, when you have a traffic jam and the road gets narrow and the funnel's down, my life had funneled down with so many different factors that I had to deal with and recoup a certain way, emotionally and mentally. Because anything that could have happened on those levels happened. So I'm not going to be broken in this life for the rest of my life. I earned my stripes. I don't think I'm Superman or tough or whatever have you, but a lot of times in the midnight hour, man, I had to shed some tears, not from weakness, you know. I needed times when, you know, and especially around the time periods, man, no money coming in, whatever, mother died, you know, all this stuff, your brother's out there, crackhead, you know. I remember I had it was those, what was it, like $3-4 cookies, them cheap cookies. I had to live off of that for a week and them cheap Sunday drinks. I wasn't asking nobody for nothing because people would turn their back on me at that point. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna go to work, and I was working, you know, and I've been through it. You know what I mean? So whatever. You can do it, you can make it if you focus and keep your mind right. And I thank the Creator for those experiences because it made me gritty, made me toughen me up. I'm not a tough man walking around. Oh, I'm tough, I'll knock you out. Whatever. Maybe I still could. I don't know. I'm not talking about that kind of tough, but resiliency. So whenever you go through stuff and you're challenged and you feel as though you're at wit's end, it's an upgrade coming. Don't run from it. Don't ask why. Face it. Take the pain and face it. And just like you know about being in the gym and working out, you know, the proper pain and discomfort that you have to feel. When you have that discomfort, that's when you're growing. So now my blades are so sharp, I slice through many things. There may be something that's going to come down the road that's challenging on a whole other level. Well, I've been through those. And if that comes to me, I'll say, listen, I've been through stuff before. I'll get through this. Every challenge, every problem, what people say problem, I don't like to say the word problem, but every problem has a solution, whether you know it or not. You know what I mean? All right, brother, give me the wrap down. I'm going to wrap this down soon. I promise. Well, we'll be back tomorrow night with Neil Frazier, and I'll still come back I'm getting back into the flow with these lives, you know, and we're gonna do it.
Hey, Brother Lance, let me ask you a big question.
Sure.
Before you go, movie question. Who are your top two actors, male actors in Hollywood?
Denzel Washington is one of them. And I'm not a movie guy per se.
Right.
But so it's not like I can rattle off the classics. I mean, I watch a lot of movies, but I was never a guy going to movies and watching movies. I got Netflix right now, and I can't even tell you the last movie I saw. And I'm supposed to, what's this movie's name that Barack Obama and his wife produced? And my sister here is always said, you better watch that movie. I got the Netflix here and I haven't seen it. I will say Denzel Washington. I know through my friends certain things about him that I won't smear his name. Nothing bad, but you know, he's got things he's working through. But him and who else? Oh God, I'm embarrassed to have a brain fog right now to not be able to tell you. But there's so many in Hollywood that I admire. But one thing, this is not an actor, but a comedian. I'll say I love Paul Mooney. Right? He's not. He's been in movies, but he's more of a comedian than anything else. You know what I mean? And so we got people coming in here with all kind of things in the chat room. Unbelievable. You know, my top two. I would put Denzel in my top 10. My top two actors in Hollywood, because it's not just the actor, it's the characters in the script that they had, was Marlon Brando and Charleston Heston. Oh, they're great. They're great actors. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, on that case, it's a whole, you know, I mean, I like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, you know, you go back to Brando, and people forget in that era, you know, these guys and what they brought, you know what I mean? So it's a whole lot. And we need more actors, especially male actors. Yes, we do need female actors. We need more male actors to show how to be a real man, you know, and we take things, whether we like it or not, especially with Hollywood, where, you know, back in the day when you had Bruce Lee movies coming out and the Kung Fu, that whole genre in the 70s, and everybody wanted to take their mother's broomsticks and cut it in half and put the chain and use it for nunchucks and after kicking each other and all that stuff. You go to Italian Neighborhood, and Rocky came out, every Italian guy identified with him and they wanted to fight, even when they couldn't. You know what I mean? So,
like Eddie Murphy Raw.
It's a big influence. It's a big influence. So yeah, we'll talk about those things. I'm gonna wrap it down, brother. But
yes, sir. Well, thank you, Lance. Thank you to the being here, the listeners.
Yeah. You always bring something good, man. You always make the show. And for all the wonderful comments and everybody I acknowledged in the chat room. Yeah, I was up reasonably early, so this is why sleep is hitting me now. It's 12:14. Woo!
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's no problem. It's no problem. It's no problem. So I guess some of these trolls will go to the other live shows and put out their little words about what they like. It's funny, man.
I hear you, brother.
Anyway, much love to you all. Like I say, I'm on to the next one. I'm on to the next one as far as the pillow is concerned right now. I'm gonna go hit some sleep. And it's always a pleasure. Lance Scurv out. And we will talk tomorrow. We'll be on with Neil Frazier. If I take a break, I might do a little 15 minutes something. I got some things in my head that I want to express just on the recording. Then after Neil Frazier, I'll take a little 10-minute break and then we come back on live. We'll do it that way. All right. Much love to you all. Let me see what we're going to play here. Let's see. Where's that little weird song that I like to play? Sounds a little weird. I can't find it. What's going on? All right, we'll play this one. All right. Anyway. So it sounds a little steamy there, right?